You're listening to Travel Nursing and Allied Life, hosted by TravCon.
Hey Nomads, my name is Dylan Collier. I'm a traveling physical therapist, best known for the New Medical Nomads podcast. I'm sitting down with TravCon speakers to give you a sneak peek into what they'll be talking about at the conference this year. My next guest is the CEO and co-founder of the MedVenture app, the all-in-one app to unite and empower traveling healthcare professionals. She has been a CVICU and ICU nurse for 8 years, a traveler for 5. She's passionate about creating supportive communities and spaces for travelers to come as they are. Travel nursing has changed her life in every way, and she is on a mission to support that opportunity to as many people as she can so that they may live their most authentic and fulfilled lives. Her next session is Diversity, Equality, and Inclusion in Healthcare and can be seen this year at TravCon 2023, September 17th to the 20th in Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, Emily Cheng.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Excited to have you back, Emily. So talking about the diversity inclusion panel, it was a huge hit last year. Our moderator in that room who helps with different international conferences and education sessions said it was the best thing he's seen. What was your big takeaway for the diversity and equality and inclusion panel from last year?
I think the biggest thing for me was that everyone was very receptive to either learning or sharing, because since this was the first time this panel happened at TravCon, definitely naturally lots of nerves and not sure how people are going to perceive it or if they'll even come. But the session itself, everyone who was on my panel, we had 5 different people from very various backgrounds, ethically and in their life paths, and them sharing their truths, and then also having a very engaged audience was really cool to see.
Definitely. Absolutely cool. And yeah, you had a very stacked panel. It was a really good panel, and obviously your leadership with it as well made it as successful as it was. For this next upcoming year, do you have any goals, or what kind of are you excited about for this next year, or things that you might be doing a little bit differently? Just kind of talking about what to look forward to for this year's panel.
Yeah, so this year, I definitely think we're going to shift the focus a little bit less on the fundamentals of what diversity, equality, and inclusion are, and probably have a handout or QR code that people can, do their due diligence and study after. But we kind of want to dive a little bit more to have an engaging type of session with the audience, because last year we actually didn't have time, which was unexpected. So I think we're going to have less from our side and more with the audience to kind of engage them more, let them share and let them engage with our panelists. And that'll definitely be the biggest change from last year.
Wonderful. For those that are listening, if they are very excited about this session and they're wanting to come, what can they expect from the panel? Is it more kind of sharing experiences? Is it more like a guided session with certain key points? How would you describe it?
I would say that it's more of a casual conversation on topics that are super relevant, both to patients, healthcare professionals, and how they are all interconnected in relation to diversity, equity, equality, and inclusion. And so I think, even if you're nervous about this topic, or you feel like, you're curious about it, but not sure if you belong in this session, it's open to everybody. You don't have to identify as a person of color. We need allies in the room as well. And again, we all have to move forward with, fighting for justice all together. And so understanding and learning about different perspectives is pretty important. And so we welcome everybody into the session. And again, I'm hoping that it's really engaging amongst the panel, but also with everybody who comes to listen in.
Wonderful. Well, listeners, you can catch Emily and the panel this year at TravCon 2023. That's going to be September 17th to the 20th. And that is the Diversity, Equality, and Inclusion panel. Very excited for that. Excited for a successful round 2.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to Travel Nursing and Allied Life. You can find the full show notes below or at travcon.org. Please help us out by rating our podcast on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.